That's why you need to really know God for yourself, and you need to know what is really for you. There are thousands of people applying to the same course, but it was enough for me to completely question my entire purpose.
This will try on the phone.
Hi guys, welcome to Natasha's Narrative. If you've been on this channel before, welcome back. So today what I thought I'd talk about is my first time at King's, what I've kind of learned, what I've been doing, etc. yada yada yada. So I know every single med school is doing things differently. So in terms of King's first year students, like, we're actually not going into university, which means that I have been at home pretty much all year, apart from Freshers Week, where we had a couple of events happen. But then after that, that's when things started to kind of escalate, and then obviously we had a second lockdown, and then we had we're in our third lockdown now. So I actually haven't had to go into university for anything, which I think in first time I found really, really difficult, because I think I would have found like the lack of social interaction thing okay if I was hanging out a lot with other people who I'm friends with, but because I wasn't really, it just felt like it was just work constantly, and I found that really, really difficult. And then obviously on top of that, the whole laptop situation that happened when my laptop broke. I'll put the story like up there of what happened, because I'm not going to go over it again. And then having to obviously prep for exams. So far I've actually sat 2 exams. Both of them have been mocks. The first exam was literally just on like cell biology, from the Foundations of Medical Science module, and also from that module we did a little bit of the molecular and cellular genetic stuff. And then this second one was the entire Foundations of Medical Science module. So it had the cell biology part, it had the like cellular genetics part, and it also had the nutrition and metabolism module. So the Foundations of Medical Science module block is made up of 3 other subsets, which I have mentioned already. So I normally just call them CBS, MCG and NAM, and I'll put down what all of those mean, just in case anyone's interested in going to King's. And essentially, but also disclaimer, these could change, because I know that the year before us had a different structure, so it might not work the same way. So essentially the first module that, like I said, we started on was Foundations of Medical Sciences, and it was quite nice because it has a lot of biomed stuff, so it was quite good for me. But I also think it's quite good for students, because they start you off really easy with stuff like, okay, what's a cell, what's in a cell, then you go into like amino acids, protein structure, enzymes, all the type of topics that you probably have already studied when you're at A level, or if you've done biomed, you've definitely gone over these things. And then you've got the like molecular and cellular genetics module, which was shorter, and it was so stuff to do with like DNA replication, also stuff to do with like Mendelian genetics, things like X-linked diseases, etc., autosomal recessive, that type of stuff. And then there's a nutrition and metabolism module. I should even laugh, so there's a lot going on in that module, to be honest. So you cover stuff like minerals, vitamins, you cover what am I talking? Yeah, you do talk about anabolism and catabolism, but what I was meant to say was you cover aerobic and anaerobic respiration, you cover beta fatty oxidation, you cover the use of amino acids also in respiration. So there's a lot that you actually cover in that module, and that's what my January exam was on. So I'm just waiting to hear the results back. I'm hoping that it went well, but I'm not, to be honest. I don't know if it went as well as the other one did, but I'm hoping that, it was good. It was fine. Anywho, so that's what we kind of have done for the first module, and we've now completed that module. So the second module is our like physiology and anatomy module. of different systems. Oh my gosh. So obviously I did anatomy as a module. I don't know why I said obviously. So I did anatomy as a module in second year, but like a lot of the stuff was like quite basic, I'm not gonna lie. Now that I've done anatomy at med school, I can see there's a very big difference. And we really did not go over things like muscles, bones and nerves in a lot of detail, unless I just did not concentrate on those things. But I did pretty well in that exam, so I'm pretty sure it wasn't there. But to be honest, if you go to Newcastle and you've done that module, feel free to let me know. But I do not remember that being in there. So like the first thing that we started to learn about in anatomy was muscle, bones and nerves. Oh my gosh, I've never the pain. Like there's so many movements that we had to, actually we learned about movements first, like anatomical movements and like anatomical planes and stuff. I'd done the planes, but I'd never learnt movements. And like there's so many movements that you actually don't realize that you do as a human being. Like I'm being so serious. And like when we're learning all these like muscles, bones and joints, first of all, I thought what we're going to be doing, clearly I'm just not serious, because I thought, okay, cool, like they're gonna say like, they're gonna be like humerus, femur bone, skull. Like obviously I knew there was like other parts of the skull that we're gonna have to break down. Like I'm not that silly, but like I thought like, your femur, like that's it. Like I didn't, patella, etc. I didn't think about other parts. They started telling me shaft, spine, tubercle, tuberosity. I said, I've never heard these words before in my life. Like the only spine I knew was a spine in my back. So I was so shocked. I couldn't believe that there was so much detail to learn. And that's the thing with anatomy, guys. I'm telling you, like if you end up going to med school, make sure that you get your anatomy under wraps, because for us at King's, we don't actually like do a practice, like a proper practice test of anatomy. So our first like exam of anatomy is at the end of the year. So make sure that you keep your anatomy and keep on like doing it. For me, I find it like I'm not that great at like the nervous system. Like first it was kind of like I wasn't that interested when I was younger, so I would concentrate on things that I found more enjoyable, so like the heart or like the kidneys and like understanding that structure. So when it comes to like looking at like nerve roots and stuff, my understanding like it's very, very difficult for me. So anyway, so that was the muscles, bones and nerves kind of area. All dissections have obviously been cancelled due to the current situations in the world. So so we're not doing those. So we have like online workshops, but I think what's made it quite difficult is because with obviously the dissections, especially when it comes to muscles and bone movement, being able to kind of like actually see the movement, see how the muscles run like on in an actual dissection room would have been a lot more beneficial, and I think easier to remember, because sometimes you're out here, like I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I have to turn off my camera so that I can like do up the movements to see if I can remember them, especially when they're like, okay, in which directions do your shoulders, or I don't know, like some other joint move. I'll be like, okay, cool. Like, because I can't, I guess I could try and mentally visualize it, but it's just so much easier to do it with your actual body parts, but it would just look weird on camera. So that was muscles, bones and nerves anyway, so that one was quite difficult. Then recently we've been doing like the chest wall, so like doing stuff to do with the heart and the lungs, and now we're just moving on to, that's a very good question, what are we doing now? We're doing like a little bit of the pelvic region now. We did a little bit of the pelvic region, like the inguinal region, the peritoneum. That's what we're supposed to be studying now. And I'm enjoying it. I would say that I do really enjoy anatomy. It is great, but it's just a lot of work. Like now even more so, we get quizzed on the stuff that we are supposed to have gone over in our lectures. And like as much as I hate not knowing things, it's good, because when I answer like I don't know, then I'm like, okay, that's something that I need to look over. Or if someone else is answering a question and I realize that, oh, you know what, I don't know that either, that kind of solidifies something in my head that, okay, I need to look over it. I think one of the things that definitely made me not do well in year 12 originally. Yeah, year 12 and year 13, not my gap year, but year 12 and year 13 was like hating to do past papers because I just felt so ill prepared. But that points out to you what you're not prepared in, and like, yes, okay, you do need to understand content, and that's why I always say, like, you need to know the content, otherwise you're just going to get like a 0, and what's the point in that? But however, like, if it's something that you've gone over, you just need to test yourself and see where it goes. So for this year, we don't actually really do any head and neck anatomy. That's stuff that we learn next year, but we learn all the other parts of the body. So I'm still waiting on doing that. Then we have like the kind of like genes based environmental type type module. So we haven't actually started any of that yet. And I should have said before, we're about halfway through on anatomy. So like, yeah, so value-based clinical practice, and that's definitely one of my favorite modules. So it's actually split into 4 sub-modules. So you've got health values, you've got clinical skills, you've got healthcare in the UK, and you also have philosophy. So those are the 4 main modules that everything is broken down into. So I've just started the philosophy one. It's quite interesting, and we're supposed to write an essay on that, which like I haven't really started because we've only just started the philosophy one, so give me some slack. And then the healthcare one, we had to do like we had to watch these videos and stuff, so that one was completed last term. And then clinical skills, yeah, so clinical skills is definitely one of my favorite ones. And the health values one as well. So clinical skills is obviously where you learn the clinical skills, but obviously because we're not going in, we're just learning as much as we can online. We're supposed to hopefully be going in March, April, but obviously that depends on what's going on with the pandemic. So yeah, so basically with the clinical skills, we've gone over like news charts, we've gone over BMI, we've gone over things like which masks we should use to help oxygenate patients. We've gone over peak flow. We've gone over like how to correctly use an inhaler. We've gone over, I think that is it for now, but there are other clinical skills, like I said, that hopefully we'll be learning in March and April. We've kind of like been taught, I guess, like how to measure BP and all of that stuff, but like I said, we haven't actually had the time, the ability to actually practice on actual people, or for some people I'm sure they've practiced at home, but like actual people outside our household. So that's because, like I said, we have not been going to university. And then for health values, my favorite part is definitely patient scenarios. So in patient scenario situations, we're given 5 different patient scenarios, and basically each week 3 people will volunteer to kind of be a first year medical student like we are, but with like a simulated patient. So obviously that's not like an actual real patient, but they'll see how they are, why did they come in today, talk them through a urine analysis, like just, make them comfortable before they go to see the GP. So I've really enjoyed this, and then afterwards we have to write up like a little kind of essay about it, talking about what we did well, what we haven't done so well, etc., etc. So I did mine recently, like literally this week, which is probably why. Anyway, this week has been crazy. I had to do a presentation, I had to do that, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, so I had to do mine this week, and it was really, really interesting, which brings me on to, I also had to do a presentation this week with people from different disciplinaries, which was amazing. So I was working with another medic, and the rest, I believe, in my group were nurses, but different departments. So like child nursing, mental health nursing, etc. And it was really, really nice to be able to do a project with people from different disciplinaries, because you actually get to see like a different view point, and we all had specific slides that we're doing, and some people had like different input, obviously according to what type of nursing they did or which disciplinary they were in. So that was really cool. So I need to hand that in as well. So yeah, to conclude, like, I feel like it's hard to kind of say how I feel about the uni that I go to, because I don't feel like I really know it that well. Like, I'm just kind of sit, do my work, go to my workshops, go to my tutorials, and then go back to living my life. So I don't really feel like I attend uni in that sense. I don't know if anyone else really agrees with me, but that I know people who have been at King's before I have, and they've really, really enjoyed themselves. In terms of just a society, obviously, where it's based, being able to do things, etc., etc. So I just think it's kind of the times that we're living in. So it's hard to kind of give a review on oh, are you enjoying university? Because it doesn't really feel like uni. It just feels like you have work that you're set to do and you need to do it. Like the whole kind of uni like culture and stuff isn't really there, which is why I think last term was really not good for me, because I was just working and doing too many things. I've had to let go of some things that I was doing before just to maintain sanity, to be honest. But I'm hoping that as things as things hopefully get better, that things will get to some sort of normality and we'll be able to go in more, and also just trying to make the effort to connect with people from my university, even though obviously it's a bit hard and it's a bit weird because you just don't really know people, but it is what it is. You just have to do what you have to do. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am now. And I've got still, like I said, I've got another module to start, and I had 3 exams in May. So at the end of the year, I'll kind of give you guys a whole what I think about my first year of university. Definitely not what I expected my first year of med to be, but it is that was the Lord's plan. Okay, so anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope that you found it interesting. Like I said, my name's Natasha. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And check out my other vids. I make videos on lots of different things, not just education, but advice. I make videos on testimonies pretty much as and when they happen. I make videos that are just literally just vibes with me and my sisters, mostly at this point, like I said, because we are, all at home. Just various different things. So feel free to check those out as well. Thank you so much for watching, like I said, and bye.